Okay, if we could have your attention, please. We are now joined by our second place qualifier, Alex Bowman, driver of the number 88 Axalta Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. Alex, congratulations on a great run out there. This is your best career start and fifth start in the number 88. So just talk a little bit about your run out there and the opportunity you have this weekend.
Yeah, a little frustrated. I feel like kind of messed up 1 and 2 there in the final round a little bit, but just so thankful to be here. Means the world to me for Hendrick Motorsports to take a chance and let me run these races. I really got to thank Axalta and everybody involved. It's been a lot of fun and just kind of trying to make the most of it. So definitely, I feel like we unloaded a little off today and made huge gains all through practice, and by the end of practice we were really happy with our car. So Greg and all the guys have worked really hard. It's a brand new race car and got great Hendrick horsepower under the hood, and just ready to go Saturday night or Sunday or whenever we get to race.
Okay, we'll now open it up for questions for Alex. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. We'll start up here in the front with Tom and then come over here to the right.
Hi, Alex. Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. Congratulations on the run. You were fast in practice. You're fast today. What are your expectations for the race?
Well, obviously, I really hope we get to practice some tomorrow, because when we unloaded, we were on the splitter pretty solidly and just kind of off. So we don't really know what our car is going to do on stickers and race trim with where we ended practice. So I'd like to get some more practice in, but I really feel like I feel like we have a shot at it. You know, I've always really liked Charlotte. I feel like our race car was really balanced. It was only doing one thing all practice, which was reassuring. Sometimes you fight loose in, tight center, loose off, you know, and our car was only doing one thing. We only had to work on one thing. So I feel like we get that one thing right, we can have something for them.
Okay, next up here in front, and then we'll go to Bob.
Second Tan's really fun stretch. You said how thankful you are for this opportunity. So how much fun are you having right now?
As much as I possibly can. You know, I don't know what my future holds. I mean, there's not really any rides open next year, so this may be these however many races left we have, maybe the rest of my Cup career. You know, you never really know what the future holds, and not having anything set in stone, the one thing that I said I was going to do throughout all these races was to make the most of it and to have the most fun I possibly could. You know, I'm not going to let the pressure kill me. I'm not going to let what people on social media dictate how I feel when I go home at night. I'm just trying to have as much fun as I possibly can, and everybody at Hendrick Motorsports has made that great. You know, we have a great group of guys on this 88 car. I love working with Greg and everybody, and Dale's been so supportive and so awesome to work with, and I get to work with like basically all my childhood heroes, between Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, and Casey Kane, and I don't think Chase Elliott was born when I had my childhood heroes, but he's my hero now. So it's just it's been amazing to get to work with all of them.
Okay, next question from Bob.
Bob Packers, ESPN. I have two. The first is, how nice is it to know that you're going to have races, and is it a little bit easier to get in the car knowing that, hey, you're going to be in the car next week and every other race except Martinsville?
Yeah, it's releasing the schedule or deciding everything that they did on the schedule really helped me personally just be able to prepare. Obviously, the previous weeks we didn't know what was going on until Tuesday, Wednesday. The first Loudon race I didn't know until Thursday afternoon. So just knowing where I'm going to run, when I'm going to need to be where, and just being able to prepare more for those races definitely helps me a ton.
And secondly, I mean, do you feel like you're almost auditioning to be a substitute driver for someone else next year? I mean, is that maybe your best hope, if you run well with no rides currently available, to be in a position to be the guy to call if someone needs somebody to fill in next season?
Yeah, you know, obviously we all hope that nobody needs a substitute driver, right? It's obviously a situation that nobody wants to have come up. And I don't want to sit here and say that I want to take advantage of that, but it doesn't hurt my feelings if that does come up, if I'm the guy that gets called. So in a perfect world, I would love to run a fourth Xfinity car for Junior Motorsports. Obviously, everybody at JRM worked really hard to try to put something together over there, and unfortunately the chips didn't line up in my favor. So don't really know what's going on. Obviously, if I win some races or run up front, I think it makes things better. There's not really seats available, but at least I'm the guy that'll hopefully get called if something does open up.
Okay, next question from Jerry.
Jerry Jordan, Performance Racing Network and Kicking the Tires. And along those lines, do you feel like that you are in the pipeline now for one of the top Cup spots at Hendrick? Because, you know, Jimmy's not going to be here forever. You know, Dale's not going to be here forever. At some point, do you feel like you move up into that role in your future?
You know, I'd really like to hope so. Obviously, Hendrick Motorsports signed William Byron, and William's a great young race car driver, and he's gonna get in the Xfinity car next year. And I think he's really their guy to be in line for that, right? He's their development guy. So I don't know. I would like to think that hopefully I'm that guy, but we'll just kind of have to wait and see. You never know what's going to happen in the next couple of years and who's going to decide to do what and what's going to open up. So kind of just at this point, I'm very happy to be working with Hendrick Motorsports, not only in my role at the racetrack, but in my roles away from the racetrack. So, next year, if I'm just working with them in my roles away from the racetrack and get to be a part of such a great organization, I'm pretty content with that.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Brian, and then just behind him.
Brian Nelson with MRN. Apologize if you may have already addressed this in the early going, but how has running with this team and top quality equipment impacted your confidence as a competitor?
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if we made the second round a single time last year, and to contend for a pole here today, and Michigan, we obviously qualified really well as well. So to do that, definitely kind of, and to run and to race how we've raced has really changed my outlook going to the racetrack a lot. What I've done for the last couple of years has been to manage expectations and realize that 20th to 25th is a great day. And I come to the racetrack with Hendrick Motorsports, and a win's a great day. So it's so cool to go to the racetrack knowing that you have equipment capable of winning if you give the right feedback and make the right calls throughout the race. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been the most fun I've had in a long time, probably since I ran ARCA and won a bunch of races back then. So that's the biggest thing. For a race car driver, you want to go to the racetrack with a chance, and that's what Hendrick Motorsports has given me.
Go ahead with your question.
Alex James Pipe with Race Chaser Online. You go 1-2 with Harvick, both in practice earlier today in the sun and then in qualifying tonight in the night. Clearly this car is strong in all conditions. So just how much confidence do you have in this piece? Do you feel like this might be the best car you've ever had?
Yeah, I'd say qualifying second in a Cup race is probably the best car we've ever had. It's hard to say. Obviously, I think Michigan, we had a solid chance at the win. Obviously, with a mechanical failure there, it was really unfortunate. But Michigan, it was a little easier to be confident just because we had so much practice. We don't know what we're going to get tomorrow. And when we unloaded, we were a little bit off. So really interested to see what our car is really going to do in race trim with the changes that we've made since we unloaded. Obviously, we made those changes on older tires and we didn't get enough time to put another set of tires on and see how it was going to go throughout the whole course of a run. So very interested to see how that goes, but I think our car is definitely very strong, and starting up front in clean air is always helpful.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Jim.
Jim under motorsport.com. Alex, you get asked a lot about the opportunity of running in Hendrick equipment and that level of equipment, but just being part of that organization for the past year, how has that changed your outlook just in your career, maybe your personal outlook, not just having fast race cars, but being around that organization?
Yeah, I feel like I've learned a lot of just how we do things at Hendrick Motorsports, and how we approach a weekend is very different than anything I've ever been a part of before, even on the junior motorsports side, really. So it's just it's a different process. It's a different kind of mentality, and it's great to be a part of. I definitely feel like I'm always learning. Whenever I'm at the shop, I'm learning whatever I can, and it's been so cool to get to lean on the 5 other drivers that are a part of the organization and get advice from them. And it's so much about, you know, for the last 2 years we would get a new car or a new body or a different engine package and be like, man, that one thing is so much better than we've had. We're going to go to the racetrack and be so much better. Well, at Hendrick Motorsports, every single little thing is the absolute best that we can make it. There's no reason, nothing holding us back from making everything that we have better and maxing everything out. So it's just, it's a different way of thinking as far as every single thing, what can we do better? What can we do to completely max it out? Whether it's nutrition, what you drink during the race, to the race cars. I mean, everything is a different way of thinking.
Any final questions for Alex? Okay, we'll go to Kenny Bruce.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Alex, does having a fast car earn you more respect out on the racetrack? Do guys race you different if they know you're in good equipment and in a fast car as opposed to if they think, well, this is just a guy that's out here?
Yeah, I would say so. You know, it's very interesting how the garage works. You know, I feel like if you're in one of the back 10 cars, you're not really almost even looked at as a race car driver sometimes until you do something that you're not supposed to do. Like if you run better than you're supposed to, you pass somebody you're not supposed to, or you out-qualify somebody you're not supposed to. Once you do that, I feel like that kind of changes. But you know, showing up the racetrack in a Hendrick Motorsports car, it's definitely, I feel like I walk in and I'm viewed differently. So, and I'm very thankful to be put in a position to be able to be viewed that way, and really enjoying it. But I think that, I mean, nobody on the Cup side really knew who I was until I out-qualified Dale Jr. at Richmond 2 years ago, and he gave me a shot in his Xfinity car. You know, I did something I wasn't supposed to do in the car that I was driving, and opened one person's eye that I got an Xfinity ride from. So it's definitely, you're definitely viewed differently depending on what you drive and what you do with it.
Okay, we'll take our next question in the middle. Can you raise your hand so they know to get a microphone to you? Thank you.
Caleb Whistler, Speedway Digest. With this potentially being the final time you're on the track this weekend, could you have learned anything from nighttime conditions racing on Saturday night?
I think so. I think the racetrack gained a lot more grip than we all thought it was going to. You know, in the past, looking at previous year's qualifying, they haven't really picked up from practice speeds, and we picked up 0.4 of a second. So kind of we know a little more of the direction it's going to go, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of the rubber is going to go away with the rain. We're kind of just going to have to wait and see what it does. You know, we could very well be racing in the day on Sunday. You know, I don't think any of us really know what's going to happen here. So hopefully it's a night race. I feel like that kind of is going to suit our car a little more. Charlotte tends to free up at night, and we were pretty tight in practice. But either way, I think we're going to have a great car.
Okay, we'll take our final question from Jerry.
Jerry Jordan, Performance Sports Network, Kicking the Tires. You mentioned Dale Jr. a while ago, giving you a shout out about out-qualifying him. He just shouted out to you again. The showman Bowman was fast tonight. Great job, Alex B. Racing. So how does it make you feel to know that he's sitting there watching you run tonight?
Yeah, I mean, Dale Earnhardt Jr. saved my career 2 years ago when he gave me that chance in the Xfinity car. So just means a lot to have him help me as much as he has and be the friend that he's been. You know, he's been a big part of my life, and definitely I'll cherish that friendship forever. You know, without him, I wouldn't have got the ride I did last year, and going forward, obviously, I hate the circumstances, but without him saying, hey, put Alex in it, I don't think that Hendrick Motorsports really would have thought of me. I mean, maybe they would have, but who knows, you know? So definitely thankful for all his support.
Alex, thank you for your time. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, if we could have your attention, please. We are now joined by our pole winner for the Bank of America 500, Kevin Harvick, driver of the number 4 Busch Hunting Chevrolet for Stewart-Haas Racing. This is his first pole this season, and Kevin won this race in 2014. So, Kevin, knowing the importance of winning in the chase, can you just talk a little bit about how starting up front matters in this first round of 12?
Yeah, well, I think anytime you can eliminate track position, that's definitely a bonus. I think for us, you know, this hasn't really been our strongest day all year, so qualifying day in general this year has not been very good for us. So to see the speed that the car immediately had today, you know, and really through all 3 rounds, we've struggled, you know, to hit all 3 rounds this year, and tonight it was just spot on every time on the racetrack. So just really proud of the guys. That'll definitely, hopefully, catapult us in the right direction to get the night started right, and hopefully hopefully we can hit it pretty close for Saturday.
Okay, we'll now open it up for questions for Kevin. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll start up front with Tom.
Hi, Kevin. Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. Congratulations on the pole. Is there any, at this stage of the game, going into a critical round, and knowing you've advanced in every round in the chase in the last 2 years, is there any psychological advantage to performing the way you did today? Does it put the other guys sort of back on their heels, or is that something you guys don't care about?
You know, here's the deal. I think there's just so many good guys and teams in this deal. I think anybody can hit it. You know, if practice goes the way I think it's going to go tomorrow, it's going to be a little bit of a guess as to where the car needs to be for Saturday night. So, you know, I think there's a lot of good teams and a lot of good engineers that can hit it spot on, you know, for the race. So it definitely doesn't hurt. Like I say, we haven't had the speed that we've needed on qualifying day really all year, and this is the first time it's, you know, just fired off like it did today, and run fast and had the speed that we needed.
Okay. Next question from Bob.
Kevin, the guy starting behind or beside you, Alex Bowman, you know, filling in for Dale Jr. What have you seen out of him this year? And I mean, have you been impressed, or is it equipment, or how would you evaluate his performance?
I think he's done a good job. You know, I think he's finished all the races, most all of them that he's running. I think that's probably the biggest goal. But he's had speed everywhere where he's gone, and he's done a good job.
Okay, we'll take our next question in the back.
Kevin Jacobs, the one Race Chaser Online. Congratulations on the pole, and I was a little surprised when I looked this up. First pole of the season, despite how good you've been in qualifying. I mean, are you surprised from how good the team has been that it took you guys this long to get to the top of the heap and get that pole?
No, because we just haven't had the speed on Fridays like we've had the previous 2 years with this particular downforce package and things that are going on with this car. We just hadn't hit on anything all year that felt comfortable and enough to drive it like you could tonight. So they've continued to work on it, and you know, tonight and you know, we've hit on it here and there throughout the year. But all in all, this is definitely the best we've performed on qualifying day all year.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Brian. Can we get a microphone to Brian Nelson, please?
Brian Nelson with MRN. So Kevin, 5 Chevrolets in the top 10, and seems like there've been a lot of Toyotas that we've been talking about all year long. So what can you tell us about Chevy's gaining? Is this kind of a one-time deal, or are we, you know, expecting to see this throughout the rest of the year?
I think a lot of that, you know, like I say, I think a lot of it has to do with a lot of things. You know, I know our guys have been working on our setup stuff, but you could probably walk across the street to the engine department and thank a lot of those guys too. They've been continuously working on trying to make things better, just like we have been on the cars. But both sides have definitely continuously stepped it up, and you see a lot of things starting to come together.
Okay, take our next question from Caleb.
Caleb Whistler, Speedway Digest. With this potentially being the final time you're on the track this weekend before the race, did you learn anything that could transfer to the race?
Yeah, we learned a lot. We unloaded in race trim and really only made one lap in qualifying trim today, just because we needed to run through a bunch of things to see where the balance needed to be and applied all that to our qualifying stuff to to adjust the balance. So hopefully we can go back, and that's usually what our guys, Rodney and all the engineers, do the best, is put all the pieces together and apply that to race stuff. So we've already been talking about that some, but it's definitely going to be punching a lot of numbers and going through a lot of the things that we did, because that's really what we focused on today, was race trim.
Any final questions for Kevin? Okay, we'll come back up to Tom.
Kevin, just a quick follow-up. How important is it for you or for any of the other 11 drivers in the chase to win one of these first 2 races in this round and not have to go to Talladega needing a good finish?
It'd be a lot easier on my blood pressure. I know that for sure. I think everybody has the same goal to try to win one of these 2 races to eliminate that possibility. But really, any of these races can jump up and bite you at really any particular time, just because of the fact you just never know. You look at the first Dover this year, and you in the 48 have the car get stuck in gear, and everybody drive over the top of them and wreck 10 or 12 cars. So obviously Talladega has the most things out of your control. So if you can get to victory lane, it's a huge benefit in this round in the first 2 weeks.
Kevin, congratulations.
Thank
Good
you,
luck
guys.
this weekend.
Thank you.